Hello, beautiful people. All right, it's Parenting Essentials. Oh, yeah, he's here. Oh, yeah, he's here. If you are there and you can hear me clearly, let me know that you are there with me today. It's Saturday Live Parenting Essentials, and I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be back, but I need to know if I'm audible. I need to know if I'm audible. All right. Okay. How are you doing? And how has the Saturday been? Okay. I'm just going to go straight to the point so that we don't take much of our time. So if you're just joining us today, this is called the Parenting Essentials, and it's coming to you from the Vision Guide. So it's our Saturday live. Every Saturday we come live and we hold each other's hands on the parenting journey to equip ourselves, to give ourselves key essentials in parenting. And last week, I started the do's and don'ts in parenting your teenager. Last week, I started the do's and don'ts in parenting your teenager. And I stopped at set a clear boundaries. I don't want to recap, but you can do well and watch the video from last week. If you're interested in this, you can search the video from last week, and so that we don't waste much of our time, I started the do's. I've not done the don't. So what I stopped last week is setting a clear boundaries, the importance of you setting a clear boundaries. And I think I dug deep into that last week. I mentioned about be clear in your expectation, be clear and be specific. Let your expectation be specific. Don't just say, hey, you're supposed to understand, you're supposed to do this. It doesn't work with difficult teenager. And most importantly, it doesn't work with any kind of child. So be clear and be specific. As I mentioned also, consistency, the power of consistency. You have to be consistent. You can't say it's okay today, it's not okay tomorrow. And I ended up talking about the certain consequences. And then I am going to start off from encouraging an open communication today. So when we talk about setting a clear boundary, it's very important to encourage open communication, because this is going to create a safe environment where our teenager is going to feel comfortable in discussing any boundary related issues. This is what they feel. This is what they feel. But many times we think they are not entitled to saying their opinion. And when you're dealing with a difficult teenager, it is not going to work. So it's very important for every parent who wants to raise a teenager, much especially a difficult one, successfully, to encourage an open communication. So many of us still have a lot of things to deal with. That is why we cannot have an open communication with our teenager. Because once they start, you feel insulted already. If you are the type, I always say it, you have a lot to deal with. You are coming from a lot. You have a lot of baggages. You have a lot to deal with. You don't have impulse control. You don't have emotional regulation. If you are not intelligent in this aspect, if you are not intelligently you are not emotionally intelligent, it will be almost impossible to parent your difficult teenager, because it will always be a battleground. And this were few of the things I mentioned also last week. So it's very important also to review and adjust. Why do you need to review? Some of the rules and consequences that we have set, we set them long ago, even before they became teenager. And some of them now, teenager is a very wide range, from 13 to 18. Some of them now are 18, but you still want to treat them like the 13-year child. So it's very important to review and adjust. You periodically review and set boundaries with your teenager to ensure that you are still relevant, to ensure that these rules are still relevant and effective. Because if you don't change your rule that you have used for your child when they were 13 and now they are 18, it means 5 years the same rule. It might not be relevant again. And if they are not relevant, it's not going to be effective on them. So it is very important for you to ensure that periodically, sometimes, occasionally, I'm not saying every day change rules. No. But coach, you said we should not change rules. That's not what I'm talking about. The rules that you have had 10 years ago, the one you have had 5 years ago, that child is growing and there is need for a review. That's what I'm talking about. So you have to make sure that it is relevant and it is effective. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you for joining me. If you can hear me, you're there. Just say hello and let me know you're joining me. So Puruchi Ozochuku. I don't mean to murder your name, but thank you for joining me. All right. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today. I'm talking about the do's and don'ts in parenting your difficult teenager. And I'm glad to have you here. Another thing you have to do is to provide guidance. It is not enough to say, don't do this, don't do that, don't. All they hear every time is just noise. The don't, it's too much. Hello. Now I want to talk to those principalities and power parents. Don't. Because when you were raised, our parents just tell us what to do. We're told what to do. There was most of the time no guidance. And these children cannot be raised like that. So you have to provide, you have to offer guidance, you have to offer support to help your teenager understand how to navigate boundaries. Because, they're human being. Sometimes what you're telling them to do, they really want to do, but they don't know how. This is difficult. This is where you get on the same page with them and you help them, teach them how to navigate these boundaries. It is not a rigid rule. They have to know how to go about it. So you teach them problem-solving skills. And most of the time, we just give these rules, we just rant, we shout, but we are not teaching them the skill that is required for them to successfully carry out all these things. And one of which is the problem-solving skills. So it's very important. So another thing you have to do, anytime you see that your teenagers has put so much effort, you're going to celebrate success. Maybe you're talking to your teenager about maybe organizing their room or everything. They struggle with them. Maybe they make mess of everywhere. It can be anything at this point. It can be the way they communicate. It can be about their mannerism. It can be about these things. So when you see improvement, don't wait until you have the whole thing in place. And it's time for you to celebrate success. I always say, when the child is learning to run, but the child has not been able to even crawl or walk, and you see a baby rather stand to take a step, it is time to celebrate. So we don't wait for the big win. We celebrate every success. We acknowledge and celebrate our teenagers' efforts in respecting the boundaries. We acknowledge it. I can see that you put much effort and you put everything in order. Don't forget, it's not about you. You celebrate a child. But many times we just make it look about us. There are quite a lot of things that we cannot really break down here because of time. All right. Now, the third thing you have to do on the do's of you parenting your difficult teenager is to encourage independence. The problem many of you have with your teenager now is because you want them to do what you think, and you want to do it for them the way you think it should be. You are not even allowing them to be self-dependent. But you know where? In the name of, I love my children. In the name of, I'm a very no-nonsense parent. You have all kind of name that we give to these things. And we're not encouraging independence. So when we encourage independence in our teenager, it's very important for their growth. It allows them to grow. The self-esteem is going to be there. It's going to encourage them to have full self-esteem. They know they can actually do things on their own. And it's going to prepare them for their adulthood. Okay, why do you think a lot of adults are struggling? Some adults, even you, okay, let's break it down. Because that's why you're pushing it back to them. I said it many times. What a lot of us are doing is to ignorantly repeat the last generation hero. And you see a lot of adults now, you cannot do anything on your own yet. You are an adult. Because you missed that skill. We have a lot of skills that adults have missed. And some of you, or some of us rather, did not actually miss that skill, but it wasn't mastered. So any skill that was missed or wasn't mastered must always be gone back to. You have to go back to it to fix it. Because what you don't have, you cannot give. But many of us are struggling with our teenager. A lot of you are struggling because you want to give what you don't have. I don't want to keep going back to the foundation because a lot of people feel attacked. Like, oh, now they are telling me I didn't raise my child well. Okay, let's already forget about what happened before the child gets to the teenager and we're struggling. Let's leave that. So now the child is a teenager and a very difficult one. So how do we handle it? That's what we're talking about. So these are the things you have to encourage. Encourage independence because it's going to help them in their adulthood. We support your teenager in developing independence, decision making. Because some of you, for your teenager, you still want to tell them what color to wear, what color not to wear. what is good. I'm not saying, oh, coach, I understand you. You want me to just leave them and wear whatever they want. That is not what I'm talking about. But respect their opinion. Respect their opinion. If it's not harmful to them, if it's not harmful to other people, if they are safe and people around them are safe, how much must you always jump into their decision? But you feel like this is not a good dress sense. How can you put purple on green? Is it your purple? And is it your green? I've said this many times. Until we change the narrative, we cannot get the desired result. Until we change the narrative. And people are looking at me. Oh, why would my teenager wear a jacket and put belt? Is it your belt? Who made the rules? We have damaged our teenager unknowingly many times that they now have low self-esteem. When they dress, they look at themselves because mommy is saying, this is not good. So every time they don't even believe in themselves again. They're not confident to go out and dress and okay, this is my decision. And yet you're saying, I'm teaching you, you are not listening. Who are those there? Hey, we need to stop. We need to stop. We need to stop. So their decision-making skill must be developed now, so that when they get to the stage of adulthood, they will not struggle. They will not struggle in their business, in their offices, in their marriage. A lot of people are struggling today in their business. In their businesses, marriages are collapsing because they lack the skill. The skill was missed or wasn't mastered. And that is why we want to correct the wrong on the next generation, because we don't want our children to suffer what is happening now or what the last generation suffered. Am I making sense? If you are there, say I can hear you. Just let me know that you can hear me and type it in the comment section. I'll be glad that you are hearing me very loud and clear. All right, we're talking about how to deal with your difficult teenager, and I'm talking about the do's and don'ts in you dealing with your difficult teenager. One of the things also that you have to do is to offer choices. Don't forget that at this point, offering choices has become a skill that was not mastered for that teenager. Because if you have been intentional in your visionary parenting journey early in life, this skill will have been there. But now let's leave that. Offering choices that you want the child now to master this skill that was missed. So you have to let them, you have to give them choices to off, even if you feel this is not good enough. Always make sure that you're not just being one directional. Give them choices. Allow your teenager to make age appropriate choices. But you are an adult. Many times you're not thinking like a teenager, but you want to relate with your teenager and get results. If you are a parent, a caregiver, an intending parent, and you want to be successful in parenting your difficult teenager, you have to put yourself in the position of a teenager and see things in teenagers' perspectives. Not just seeing yourself here. You want to raise them, but you want to just stay there as an authority only. You don't want to think like a teenager. You don't want to flash back when you were growing up. So you have to give them age appropriate. And don't forget that things are really changing. The world has evolved. It's a global village now. The choices must be age appropriate. The decision must be age appropriate. So you have to offer options to them. Let them have a say in what matters to their life. Hey, coach has come again. They should have a say in what matters to their life. Oh, you better calm down. I always tell you, go and take cold water and listen. Calm down. Let them have a say in what matters to their life. As a teenager, if they do not have a say and in those things that matter to their life, when are they going to learn to have a say? They get to work, they get to anywhere, they get to in adulthood, they just been maltreated in marriage, because they don't have say. They think it's normal. That is what you have taught them to. That is what the brain is used to. There are quite a lot of negative effect on these things. I just wish I can break it down here. And that is why the visionary arc is wide open, where we take everything systematically, one step after the other. So the decision is about their life. Some of us go as far as telling our children, do sciences, do sciences. Nobody's doing that. No. Hello. That is the child's decision. But we still want to rub our own self-ego on them. You think you are advising, doctor, being a doctor is what is in vogue. And you want to sell what you wanted to be, but you couldn't achieve to your child. Can we snap out of this? But you sincerely feel you're loving your child. That is not how to love a child. Because the child is having A's in science, you think the child should do something that is related to science. It's not about the academics. Oh, you better get into the hack. You are selfish, but you're not aware. Sincerely. And if you're not aware, if you don't know, until you know, you will not know that you don't know. What you don't know, you don't know. I'm going to leave that and just move on, because that topic, that point is so deep and we can break it down here. So you have to provide opportunity for responsibility. Let them be responsible for something. Give them room to try. You always look for vacation. Why is this like this? Why is the pap make like this? Come on, relax. The problem is not actually with your teenager. Relax. Provide opportunity for them to be responsible. The being responsible for something does not mean it will come with automatic perfection. Look at yourself as an adult. Are you always putting things in place every time? Are you so perfect? Can you boldly say, I'm a perfect parent? So give them opportunity to be responsible. It comes with growth. Madam Lalo, I cite you there. Oh, he, oh, he. Oh, he, oh, he. If I'm right, thank you for joining me. Titi Loye, Victor Akintunde. Thank you for joining me, sir. I'm glad to have you here. All right. So we have to be very intentional about these things. You have to. Household choice is them managing their own schedule. Allow them to handle their own finances if possible. You also want to, you are the one giving them the money, or somebody is giving them the money. You are the one that still want to keep the money for a teenager. You still want to keep their money. You still want to say, this is how you do it. You teach the skill and watch what happens. So you have to encourage problem solving. I've already mentioned problem solving skill slightly today. So this is a skill that you have to encourage problem solving. It is very important. Instead of you immediately providing solution, they're trying to do something, they cannot fix it. You just go. You lack patience as a parent or as a caregiver. You cannot wait for them to try, because they are wasting time to you. Because if you do it by yourself, it's going to take you 2 minutes, but the child is already using 15 minutes. So where's the time? I don't have the time to waste. I don't have the time to waste. This is not how your child is going to grow. You have to have the time. Having the time is a must. It's not negotiable. So you have to give them room to develop this skill called the problem solving skill. Don't always provide solution for them. They are facing something quickly, you are there. They want to try to fix their t-shirt, you are there. And that's how I've said this many times in the past few weeks. I said, don't even what we are so concerned about. People say, my child did not put it right. Can you leave people and parent, all right? The moment you're not ready to leave what people are going to say, you cannot parent, all right? All right. Encourage the problem solving skill is very, very important. Encourage them to brainstorm. Encourage them to come up with their own solution. It doesn't have to be the way you think it should be, as long as there is a result. But many of us as parents, we are so rigid. As long as it's not the way you want it to be, it's not good enough. So who has the problem? You or the child? Because let's just face it. Let's call a spade a spade. Many of these children are actually victims of our ignorance as parents. And I'm not apologetic about it to tell you. Many of these children, they are victims of your ignorance as parent. We just keep packaging what is not. My child, my deeds. Can we just leave this children and think about ourselves? I don't want to come for you. I love you. But it's high time we changed. It's very important. We cannot keep just talking about parenting and just want something that we want to polish. No. So what we need to do is to offer guidance and support as needed, but we have to allow them to take the lead in finding solution. Is that clear enough? We are allowed to offer guidance as needed, depending on the age. The way you're going to offer guidance to your 13 years is not the way you're going to offer guidance to your 17 years, because you have to let them practice the skill as needed, but on their way to finding the solution, not just jumping and giving them the solution. We have to provide also self-advocacy. We have to promote it. Their self-advocacy. We have to teach our teenager how to advocate for themselves in various situations. But we don't always promote that. We have to help them to be able to advocate, to speak up, to do everything for themselves, to teach as such as communication, to be able to speak up, to be able to defend themselves. Let me give you an example, and this is general. You have a 5 years old child or a 3 years who can speak properly. But many of us by default, listen to this, maybe you're doing it so that you can fix yourself. You meet somebody and is asking your child, hello, what's your name? Do you know you always jump to tell the, oh, she's this. Who asked you? It's not your decision. But we are not aware that this is what we are doing. We are not training, we are not building the skill of self-advocating. Maybe the child cannot actually speak clearly yet, or the child is not confident, or by default it's just in your head that you have to respond to your child. Somebody's talking to your child, what grade are you in? But you're just there, jump into the, oh, she's in grade 10. Who is not, can I tell you to keep quiet? The reason why you're not teaching the skill is because you as a parent lack a skill. The reason why you are not teaching the skill right is because there is a missed skill or unmastered skill for you as an adult. Are we getting it? So allow them to develop the skill of self-advocating, how to handle conflicts. And this comes down to maybe like siblings rivalry, conflict within the house, between their friends. Allow them. I'm not saying don't guide, but allow them. Let you assist them, guide them, but allow them to speak up, allow them to say their mind. And by doing this, you're also going to be teaching the conflict resolution. Even you as a parent, your children now, when they start in the house, you just want to always say to them, can you teach the skill for them to be able to resolve conflicts? Because this skill, they don't just need it as a child. It's going to go on to their business when they grow up. It's going to affect their marriage. You're raising a child that cannot solve issues with their siblings now. If they don't see you at home, is war. And when you come, all you do is to take side on one. You're not helping them to develop critical thinking and come together and talk about their issues and solve it. When they now get to adulthood and marry, they start to fight with their husband and they don't have the skill how to be calm. They fight with their wife. They don't have the skill to be calm and discuss and have an open and effective communication because they lack that skill. Are we getting it? A lot of adults that are suffering now in their marriages is because of the skill they lack. Is it possible for them to get the skill? Absolutely. But until you know you lack something before you can look for it. When you don't know that you lack something, how do you search for it? I don't want to take much of our time. I don't. But I believe I'm making sense to somebody and somebody's getting a take home today. Another thing you have to do in raising your difficult teenager is to respect their privacy. Privacy. Yes, privacy. Am I saying allow them to do what is bad? No. You have to respect your teenager's privacy. It is very important. They want to be alone in the room, but you feel because you are not safe. You're not raising a child that will give you peace of mind. You don't know what they're doing because they are now in the room. You just want to sneak on them. It is wrong. If your teenager's room is locked, the door is closed, and you just want to open the door, you think that is the best way to do parenting, is an error. And you cannot understand it here. You have the issues. You have trust issues. Just know that you have not done your work well as a parent. That is why you have to sneak on your teenager to know what they're doing in their room. What is the man that you knock the door? Will I catch them? Why do you want to? Okay, I'll just leave it. Yes, you have to respect their privacy. This topic alone is what we can take for 2 weeks. Respect it. It is very important. Deal with yourself and get the skill you need to parent your teenager, but please respect their privacy. Teach the skill that you think they lack, but don't be insecure and you just want to sneak on them to know what they're doing. You have the issue, not your teenager. All right, support their passion. It is very important for you to support their passion. You have to encourage your teenager to pursue their passion, their interest. This is what they want to do, but because you don't like that passion, they are telling you they want to go and learn this. Every time you are bringing it down because it doesn't make sense to you. You cannot raise a difficult teenager like that. See, those who are not difficult can still come to you and say, Mommy, please understand with me. I really want to go for drumming classes. I really want to do this because they are not difficult. But if you do that to a difficult teenager, they will come back to you. in a very rude way, and you find it rude because they tell you, why are you not listening to me? I'm telling you, I want to do it. Then you start to say, my child is rude. Your child is not actually rude. It's because you lack the skill to handle this kind of blessed child. I call them blessed. Support their passion. It doesn't have to be your passion. It doesn't have to be what makes sense to you. As long as it's going to be beneficial to them, as long as it's not going to harm them, it's not going to harm people around. Support their passion, support them, allow them to explore their new hobbies. They want to join club, organization, leadership roles. Allow them. No, you cannot go and be a leader and do something. You cannot go and do this because you were traumatized when growing up, because you were a leader of a group and they did you bad. And you said to yourself, never with any of my child become a leader anywhere. No, you have problem. Oh yeah, stop. You deal with your baggages alone. Don't drag these children into it. If you are in that state and you feel, oh, I'm protecting my child, it's because of what you went through, please get help. Get all the help you need. A child wants to be a house girl, head girl in school. Maybe they should do private, but you don't want the child because of your sad experience when you were like that. Please deal with yourself so that you can be able to support your teenager's passion. You have to encourage decision-making skills. I've already said something similar to that. They've taken the decision. This is my passion. So you have to please encourage it. It's very important. I can see Mommy Pat right there. Hello, Mama. Thank you so much for joining me. That's my mama right there, Mommy Pat Olurotimi of the Let's Talk About It. I give you a shout out, Mama. Thank you for joining me. I celebrate you. I celebrate you big time. Thank you so much for joining, Mama. Okay, if you're just joining me today, I'm talking about the do's and don'ts in parenting your difficult teenagers. The do's and don'ts in parenting your difficult teenagers. And we are breaking it down stage by stage, step by step. I'm not jumping anything. All right. So promote self-care. You have to promote self-care. Allow them to take care of themselves. Teach your teenager the importance of self-care. Many of us, the issue we have with our teenagers is because they lack self-care. All you need to do is to promote it. You have to promote it. Maybe you feel like they are eating, they're not doing exercise. What you are teaching your child, make sure that you are aligning. Yeah, you have that skill. Maybe it's physical fitness. Do you also, your child has never heard you say, I'm going for a walk. But you are just sitting down. You don't work out. Do you work out? But me, I'm an adult. I don't need to work out. She's a teenager. She just adding weight. It doesn't work like that, mommy and daddy. It doesn't work out. If you want to parent successfully, you have to do as you say. And do as you say, sometimes we overlook it. As simple as physical, mental, emotional well-being, we have to encourage self-care in these areas. And it's very important for us to do as we say. It is very, very important. Provide guidance to them, not control. I'll say that again. Provide guidance to them. In parenting your difficult teenager, all you need to do is to provide guidance. But what many of us are doing is to provide control. Do this, do that, sit down there. No. They are not robots. And that they are not the machine that you have purchased in the house that you just press the button. This is what we have in our head. Until you delete that in your head and you reload, buy new software there, you might not be able to get great results. So all you need to do, we are guiding them. You are not controlling them. Can I tell you the truth? A bitter truth. Your job is not to control your children. Coach, I should not control. You will not control. They are not robot machine. No. You are not supposed to control. I know a lot of people are upset right now. You're boiling. Bele, drink water. You provide guidance, not control. You offer guidance. How? Oh yeah. If I don't control them, how? By advising, by supporting them, by modeling it. Not controlling, not overbearing. Many of us just overbear. Do you know I am this? Do you know I am that? I don't want to come for you. Go back and think about everything you're doing most of the time. Most parents that complain about their children, what they are doing most of the time is just about them. It's for them. They're self-centered. You cannot raise a difficult teenager like that. They are very smart. They know when you are doing something that is self-centered, even though you have not seen it. You haven't seen it yourself, that what you're doing is just about you. You're making everything about you. But you think you love them. But because they are smart, and that is why you call them difficult. They already know. She has come again, daddy. Please, don't. Our job, in fact, parenting job is not controlling the child. Take it or leave it. It might be hurting you, that statement, but it's just the truth and it's the fact. Just provide guidance. It's very important. I don't want to say much about that so that I don't step on you. And I'm not even apologetic if I do. All right, I'm going to be closing shortly. Okay, all right, 30 minutes is over. I'm just going to, yes, mommy, provide guidance, not control. No, you don't control them, guide them. So we celebrate achievement. We already said we are going to celebrate their success. When they move, take a step, celebrate. So when they finally achieve it, you celebrate. You acknowledge and celebrate your teenager's achievement. It is very important. Your big achievement, the small achievement, recognize the effort they put in. Let them know that you can see the effort. Don't forget, it's not even about you, but push it back to them. Don't say, that's my child now. I'm proud of you now because of this. That's what many of us are saying. That's why we are not getting results. You recognize their effort, the effort of the child, their resilience, and the growth they've shown over the time. Navigating the journey also of a teenager is not easy for a teenager. They also want to navigate, and difficulty in navigating the teenage stage is very big. So your job is to guide them. They have peer pressure, they have everything, they have their psychology, they have their hormones growing. So there are quite a lot of things that are happening at the same time. But because we are not sensitive parent, because you are not sensitive parent, you're just ranting. No, guide them. And when you see result, please celebrate it. I'm just going to call it a day now. So that again we continue, but next week we are going to hold on this topic because of the Easter weekend. So there won't be Parenting Essential Live next week, Saturday. So we are going to be coming back up a Saturday. So you're not going to see my face next week, but I believe the children around the globe are going to be enjoying the great time. So if you have children between the ages of 6 to 17, this year we are covering massive age group. And we have received massive registration this year. We have received massive registration this year. I was looking at today, I was a privilege to just look at the registration. Like, oh, wow. We have massive registration this year. So, but the registration is open to the last day. It's not even closing. Your child can join in any time. So if you have a child or children between the ages of 6 to 17, it is totally free. This is our yearly program where we let our children know the importance of the season of Easter. So please register your child, register your children. The link is there on our Facebook page. And also, if you want more information, you can always send us a message on our email. You can DM us or you can send us WhatsApp, and the admin is going to respond to you. Please register your children. We are still believing that your child will not miss out in this great event. It promises to be an amazing time. You're going to be covering a lot. We have the trivia, we have the craft, we have the debate. We have a lot of things lined up for this year. And we believe that God is going to use this time to bless these children. We have children joining from Jamaica, UK, everywhere this year. It's just massive this year. I am very grateful to God for what God is doing, and I believe your child is not going to miss this time. Okay, that is it. Having said that, the next batch of level 1 of the parent-child connection course is going to be starting next month. So the registration is ongoing. Please register. I know everything. You come first and come and tell me if you know everything. So this is going to be a great avenue for you to learn how to connect properly, to learn how parenting is all about, and how to go about the visionary parenting. All we are pushing forward is being a visionary parenting, having the vision and writing it plain and letting the vision guide you. So please register. The registration is open, and I believe it's going to close on the 10th of April. So the arc is wide open. Yesterday was a great day for us where we had them passing out for the last batch. Wow, it was massive. It was massive, trust me. And we're going to be sharing some testimonies, amazing testimonies from families and friends, participants. One of the good things about joining the hack, it's not about your parenting only. It's going to help you in your business. Above all, it's going to help you in your marriage. When you join the app for the parent-child connection, you're not just going to be connecting with your children, but it's going to enhance you connecting with your spouse. All right, I will not say much more than that, but if you need more information, you can just DM us and we're going to try. But there is no information that will give you clearer picture until you get into the hack. All right, I'm just going to call it a day. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let me just say hello to everyone who is here. Once again, Mommy Pat Olurotimi of the Full Gospel Sanctuary and Mommy Pat of the Let's Talk About It. You know, Mommy is just everywhere. And that's my mama. I want to celebrate you. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you. I celebrate you, and I'm not taking you joining me for granted. I am so happy. You know, anytime I see you on my life, I get energy. Energy. All right, thank you, Mama. God bless you. And I have Akomas Amara. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. Reverse Dakpo just joined in. Thank you for joining me. We're rounding up already, but thank you for joining me. Madam Lolo, if you are still there, hello. Thank you for joining me. Oh, he. Thank you if you are still there. And I call a name before I don't want to call it again. So something. Thank you for joining me. And those who I cannot see on my screen, I want to say thank you for joining me. And I'll see you in the next 2 weeks because of the Easter weekend. Please bring your children in and let's have the fun together. It promises to be an amazing time. I will see you in 2 weeks. God bless you. Stay blessed and bye for now. Love you. Love you all. God bless you. As we go, don't forget that parenting is must be intentional, must be purposeful, must be full of vision. And this vision is what is going to guide you jealously. What is vision? Please come to the hack where we're going to break down what is visionary parenting. Bye for now. If you're seeing my face for the first time, this is our Saturday live and it's called the Parenting Essentials. And this is coming to you from the stable of the Vision Guide. Bye for now and stay blessed. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you.